सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। In the second boon, when Nachiketa asked for that kind of Vidya through which there is Nachiketa, the Agni Karya is performed, through which the people who perform will attain to the Swargaloka. And why is Swargaloka peaceful and enjoyable? So the reason he gives, na tatra tvam na jaraya vivedi. Death is not there and there is no old age. The reason that there is no death and old age is the Swargalokanubhuti, there is no physical body. Therefore, there is no need for food and water. Therefore, if these people can be given that beautiful opportunity to reach there, that would be a great blessings for all these people. So Yamadharmaraja says, your noble thought and noble gesture is understandable, but this is going to be a complicated one. Would you be able to remember all of it? So when challenged, and when Yamadharmaraja gives the entire Vidya, immediately with all the steps, with all the ingredients, with all the processes, with the mantras, kriya, he repeats verbatim, repeating it. It pleases the Guru here. So that pleased Guru, what is he saying? He says in the 16th mantra, 34th page. Tam abravit priyamano mahatma varam tavehadya dadami bhuyah tavaiva namna bhavitayam agnihi srunkam chemam aneka rupam grihana. First and foremost, the pleased teacher here, tam abravit priyamano mahatma. The teacher, the Mahatma, which is Yamadharmaraja, ativa priyamanaha. Priyamanaha, he was really ecstatic to find such student. Every teacher, as much as every student is searching for a good teacher, every good teacher is also searching for a good student. And this student that was standing in front of him has definitely pleased Yama Bhagavan. He says, Varam tavehatya dadami bhuyah. I feel like giving you another boon. This time around, he understands what kind of student he is dealing with. So he does not leave it open-ended. That bhaiya, now you ask what that boon is. He says, no, I will give you the boon myself. He says, Tavaiva namna bhavitayam agni. This Agni which I have taught and you have repeated had probably names, different kinds of names, but henceforth it will be known after you. It will be named after you. That's a great credit for the student. And then he says, just like the royal kingly environment, when they get very pleased, what do? Immediately they take out a mala or a necklace that they are wearing and give it to the one that they are pleased. Yama also in that same stride takes out Imam Srinkam Bahurupa, this necklace which is very rare, and it has probably, it has a multi-dimensional look. When there are these precious gems, you see it from one angle, the light reflects in a blue color, you go to the other end, it appears greenish, then the other end it appears red. It is how the gem is cut. So it is appearing in different shapes and different colors. So he says, Srinkam cha imam aneka rupam grihana. Take this. This is a very precious one, and I am pleased, and therefore I am gifting you this necklace which is very dear to. Just like how Sita ji, when she was pleased with Hanumanji, she gave her most favorite necklace to Hanumanji. Similarly, here Nachiketa, his effort and his memory is so appreciated. So he is gifted and it is named after him. How is it named? He says in the 17th mantra, Trinachiketaha Tribhiretya Sandhim Trikarmakrit Tarati Janma Mrityu Brahmajagnyam Devamediam Viditva Nichayemam Shantimatyantameti. Trinachiketaha Tribihi Etya Sandhim Trikarmakrit Tarati Janma Mrityu. Whoever performs this particular yajna which has been taught to you, O Nachiketa, this three-timed karma when performed, it will now be known as Trinachiketa. Your name is Nachiketa and this has to be done 3 times. So therefore it is called Trinachiketa. By implicitly following the individual who performs this Trinachiketa Agni, they will transcend Janma Mrityu and attain to the higher worlds. Brahmajagnyam Deva Medium Viditva Nichaya Imam Shantim Atyantam Eti. Your purpose for asking this particular boon was to bless the society with immense peace. See, what is the kind of seva that we have to do to the society, especially in today's world, when so much is being doled out to the society through various political wings, which is actually making the people useless and lazy without a vision. Why? Everything is provided at their doorsteps. When earlier there was a white ration card and you take that white ration card, you stand in the queue, you stand in the line, and then you get as long as the stocks last. Now, since in outskirts of Vijayawada, in Chinmay Sitaram Ashram, I work in the village segment. There is a village officer His job, he's given a vehicle. His job is to collect all of this from the government godowns, go to each house, and then distribute it at their house, at their doorsteps. And the end result of it is the money that is given, all these freebies that are given, it only turns the society into a useless society. What is it that can be done in the name of seva, in the name of something that can uplift the society? Give them a vision, give them that kind of path with which there is a certain amount of discipline, certain amount of rigor that they perform, so that they can attain to the highest peace that an individual can attain. We do not appreciate peace as long as that is disturbed. As the people that have been growing up living in constant turmoil, where the young ones, as young as 8-10-year-old, they are not learning, they are not getting educated, there is no upliftment other than knowing how to press the trigger. They're carrying those big assault rifles as young as 8 and 10. That is no upliftment. Upliftment is when the individual has put the effort, they have sweat and toiled, and they have attained to certain amount of peace. Isn't that what you wanted, Nachiketa, for the society? This Vidya, when learnt and implicitly followed 3 times at least a day, that individual definitely will attain to the higher world and attain to peace. Having said that, he says in the 18th mantra, Trinachiketah Trayametadviditva Yayevam Vidvan Chinute Nachiketam Samrutyupashat Puratah Pranodya Shokatigo Modate Swargaloke. So beautiful. It says the one who has certain amount of undisturbed peace, such individual can aim for something higher. Now, what is it that disturbs our peace? Constant miseries and sorrows is what disturbs our peace. With this Vidya, Shokatigaha, they will transcend their Shoka, Modate Swarga Loke. They will cherish this Swarga Loka. Trinachiketaha Trayam Etat Viditva. This Trinachiketa, now these are the various systems of Yajna Yaga that were performed on a daily basis. Today, we probably don't even recognize the names because we seldom do it. Every household had a Yagashala. Imagine. In the northeast corner of that Yagashala, there was a Ishta Devata. So you do the Yaga, you do the Ishta Devata Prarthana, whatever puja, Shodashopchara puja, and then begin your day. Every household had it. Today, it is rare to find even an altar for Bhagavan. Even if we do find, it is in one remote, inaccessible corner of a closet where Bhagavan is provided a little room. They have 2,000, 3,000 square foot house, but Bhagavan is accommodated in one clumsy corner. So it becomes difficult to understand these mantras. Probably the Trinachiketa Agni, what it means is, in that Yagashala where the daily Havan is done, there are three kinds of Agni which I mentioned even yesterday. One is the main Havan, which is called the Garhapatya. Then there is one right behind it on the left hand side. It is called the Ahavaniya Agni. And then there is the Dakshinagni. In the corner of the Dakshinagni is where the Ahutis are cooked. The rice is cooked. It is not something that is cooked on a gas stove and kept in the refrigerator, reheated in the microwave and brought to the oven. It is cooked right then and there. So whenever I meet the kids, especially those that have just finished their 12th, now they will be getting into college, universities and moving on. And they have 3 months holidays. There are a couple of things that I tell them. First, I ask them to learn at least 7 different kinds of dishes to cook. So wherever you go, you can be independent. Learn at least more than 3 languages so that your Vyavahara is not blocked. Because up until then, all that they have known is to study their textbooks, memorize them, regurgitate them, and get a rank. The skills are not developed. In this Garhapatya, Dakshinagni, every individual had to learn how to cook at least rice. Because it has to be done right there. While you are arranging for your rest of it, that Dakshinagni is the first one, and then you light it. From there, you borrow the Agni into the rest of it, and you offer your. So this can mean those 3 Yagashala, in the Yagashala, those 3 Havana Kunda that are created, 3 Nachiketa, or this fire that has to be lit in the individual with 3 different processes. The 3 different processes that every Vedic literature has mentioned clearly. The entire Vedic literature itself has been divided and classified into these 3 categories, which is why when we began in the introduction itself, I said the Vedic literature can be divided into 3 parts. The first part being Karma Kanda, the second being Upasana Kanda, and the third being the Jnana Kanda. So these 3, when that fire is constantly lit and you perform, you reach to that Swarga Loka. Swa meaning the self. Ga Gamayati meaning reaching to there. These external activities that which we are engaged in helps us purify the Antakarana, and thereby that Antakarana is uplifted to a peaceful environment, a solid, unshakable peace within. And that individual who has that solid, unshakable peace naturally is gifted by the Vairagya Guna. If there is no Vairagya, there is no peace. Absence of Vairagya, we are only in pieces. So such individual, whenever we say Antakarana Shuddhi, what does it indicate? It indicates the intense amount of Vairagya. Again, as yesterday in Bhagavad Gita class I was saying, that Vairagya does not mean that you are abandoning everything around. You are staying amidst that very environment, not being impacted by the presence of it or the absence of it. Just like the lotus, it grows in murky waters. But it yields such beautiful flowers with amazing fragrance from that very murky waters. If somebody were to say that this dirty water is the end product, is this lotus, it is unbelievable. And sometimes during the summer when the water dries out, the root that is still in that soil, it protects itself waiting for the right opportune moment, and as soon as there is rain waters gathering in that murky waters, it will again sprout and grow. The absence of it or the presence of it doesn't impact it. It grows and grows flourishingly. Such is the quality of Vairagya. There are other meanings that Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya ji in his Bhashya elaborates into. But I think these many aspects, if we understand, should be sufficient for us. Evam vidvan chinute nachiketam saha mrityupashan puratah pranodya. Having known this, hey Nachiketa, this will be known as the Trinachiketa Agni, and the one who performs this chinute puratah pranodya, they destroy the vasana layers and thereby reaching to a undisturbed, unshakable amount of peace within. That can be guaranteed. Then, when somebody is happy, extremely happy, we tend to express our happiness in too many words. Just in praise of the student, Yamadharmaraja spent almost 3 mantras, realizing that he has spoken enough. Now Yamadharmaraja concludes his monologue and he says, Yeshate Agnihi Nachiketa Swargyaha Yamavranitha Dvitiyena Varena Etamagnim Tavaiva Pravakshanti Janasaha Tritiyam Varam Nachiketo Vranishva Yeshate Agnihi Nachiketa Swargyaha Yamavranithaha Dvitiyena Varena. This second boon that you have asked is this Nachiketa Agni, which will take you directly to that peaceful environment called Swarga, and it will be known. The people will recognize this and it will be known as Trinachiketa Agni. So this is your second boon. Now go ahead, Nachiketa, ask your third boon. What a student that he was given 3 boons. Now while fulfilling the second boon, he got one more boon and one more gift. So now he is to ask the third boon in the 20th mantra. Now for all practical purposes, up until the 19th mantra, it is a beautiful dramatic script which sets a good background or a backdrop for the Upanishad to begin. From this 20th mantra, the Upanishad begins. Meaning the actual content of the Upanishad, it begins from here. So Nachiketa starts asking his third boon. Yeyam prete vichikitsa manushye astityeke nayamastiti chaike etad vidyam anushishtastvayaham varanameshaha varastrutiyaha. Of the 3 boons that you have blessed me with, this is my third boon. Varanam eshaha tritiyaha. Yeyam prete vichikitsa manushya loke astityeke nayam astiti Chaike. When the jiva leaves this body, pretya, what happens to that jiva is a huge discussion in various standpoints. Some say that it continues to exist. Some say there is no such thing of continuance of this jiva to exist. And this particular concept or idea of what is it that constitutes this jivatva, what is the transmigration of this jivatva, is it possible, is it not possible, what is the journey of this jiva? Where does it begin, where does it end, does it have any movement at all? I want to know the essence of this enlivening principle that enlivens this body, where as long as it stays, the body seems to be mobile and active. The moment it leaves this body, the body perishes. I want to know about this Jiva Rahasya, the essence of that Jiva. Not long ago, he himself had that experience. And then he says, "O Yama, you stand at that threshold between life and death. You are the very Lord of death. So you know this side of the story, you know that side of the story as well. I cannot find a better teacher than you. Hence, therefore, I think it is apt of me to ask this third boon." Now imagine, you are in a gathering. There is a 5-6-year-old who comes to you and says, "Uncle or auntie, can you tell me Brahma Vidya?" What is your reaction to that 5-year-old? You have that jalebi or peda around, पहले ये खा ले, बाद में बात करें. Or if there are other group of children, I said, "Go play with your friends." We would not take it that seriously. It's a 5-year-old asking. So Yamadharmaraja wants to thoroughly check, test, vet this student. पूछ तो लिया तुमने बहुत बढ़िया चीज. You have asked something very subtle, very beautiful. But do you have the capacity to even understand, assimilate what that answer will lead to? Are you qualified? Yes, you seem to have amazing memory, Medha Shakti. That is credible. But to now understand this and assimilate it requires that sharpness of the intellect. Are you that sharp? So what does Yama do in order to test the student? He starts testing him in various aspects. Before we go there, often our Sanatana way of spiritual unfoldment is blamed that it is the most selfish path in the world available in the name of spirituality. It does not care about the world and the others in that world. It cares about only the self and the growth of the self and the emancipation of that self. That is what they are focused upon. What happens to the world? Bhaad mein jaye. They don't care. Having traveled in different parts of the world, this question is an often asked question by the Westerners. Because that is how it is being projected into the world, where their understanding limits them that this is the selfish process, wherein it is not seen or deemed as a selfless process. This particular Upanishad should remove all the cobwebs of their doubts. a spiritual seeker, if not being compassionate with the world around and be an active ingredient to provide something productive, positive, beautiful to that society, there is no growth of that individual. So, in the first boon, the first responsibility of the student or the child is towards his or her own parents and family. You provide them with that peaceful, secure environment. That is your first priority. Taking care of your family is the first responsibility. It is not optional. Agar hoga to, it is not optional. The second priority is that it is not it is not right of the individual to keep taking everything from the society and not be a contributor to the society. That is where Gurudev so emphatically says in that pledge, giving more than what we take and producing more than what we consume. Whatever is the input, what I am giving back should always be way higher than what I have taken from that society. And that giving should be so nourishing and fulfilling that the society feels that you have provided an absolutely great solution for that society. In today's world, where in the name of Seva, only photographs and Instagram reels and updates are being done, in the name of those photos, that as though there is something being done. There are various kinds of Seva. There is a Chinese saying, it says, give a man a fish, he'll come back asking for more. Teach him how to fish, he is set for life. And Gurudev's perspective on this was, there are various kinds of seva that can be done into this world, unto this world. You can give food, you can supply food, annadana, vastradana, vidyadana. The best dana that has to be done to uplift the society is this knowledge and wisdom. It will unleash such great potential in the individual. And from there on, that individual, that society does not have to look back upon. There's only progress from there on. There is a book by him called As I Think, where he has the vision of why he started what he started. In spite of various great Mahatmas, including his own teacher, Swami Tapovam Maharaj, dissuading him from coming down from the Himalayas, he said, no, this knowledge has to reach to every household. It cannot be centralized, it has to be decentralized. That it has to go down to every gully, every nukkad, every house, irrespective of what their caste, creed, gender is, irrespective of what kind of economic background that they have. This knowledge has to be nourishing and flourishing the society. Meaning what? I cannot stay isolated from the society to which I am an integral part of. Recently, I was in a village called Pile. Maybe it is a little bigger than a village, a small town. So, as I had gone there to drop off Swamiji, there were many from the nearby villages that had come. So, one of them asked, what is the purpose of these sadhus and sannyasis to be in towns and villages and cities? Shouldn't they be in forests and Himalayas and some remote corner, inaccessible, so that they focus on what they have taken vow of? Then I told them, that those of us who have taken to this path of sannyasa, especially in the Sanatana Smarta way, Adi Shankaracharya ji has given us the naming, and it has a purpose and a meaning behind. The institution of sannyasa was established in such a beauty that each one taking there is a sampradaya. And that sampradaya, each sampradaya has the last name. It is called the Dasha Nami, 10 different names. And what are these 10 different names? I'll take a couple of them for example. Swami XYZ, Sagar, Swami Tirtha, yes, Saraswati, that which we belong to, Bharati, Giri, Puri. Do you know what sampradaya that Swami Taponam Maharaj belonged to? His main name is Tapa. And the sampradaya that he belongs to, the Nami that he belongs to, is Vana. Tapo Vanam. Just like Giri, Saraswati, Puri, Bharati, Vana is also a tradition. What is the purpose of these names? Those who have the name of Sagara, they have to be on the seashores, that those who are living there, this knowledge and wisdom is given to those who are living in that seashore areas, so that becomes their responsibility to give this wisdom knowledge of the Sanatana to that group of people. Giri, not the Hindi Giri. In Sanskritam, Giri means the hills. So these are the people that who have to be in the hills and helping those people that have settled there and give them this knowledge and wisdom. Puri, their job is to be in towns and cities and give this knowledge and wisdom to the people that are living there. Tirtha, they have to live in Tirtha Kshetras, so that when the masses come to that Tirtha, they give the sanctity of that particular Tirtha, explain the Tirtha Kshetra Mahatmya, and give them the processes to connect with that divine in that Tirtha Kshetra, maintaining the sanctity of that Tirtha. Bharati, these are the ones that have to travel all across Bharatavarsha, from the Himalaya to the oceans, and keep a check on all the other Namis, so that they can be the backup plan for these people, so that they can be constantly monitored. Now coming to our own last name, Saraswati, they have to engage themselves in research, understanding of the application of this knowledge and wisdom, so that the changing times, this can be modulated to be reachable, accessible to the entire society. Meaning what? The very nomenclature of this path, one of the primary focuses is the society that which you are an integral part of. That responsibility to uplift that society is one of the primary responsibilities. And without that, the purification of Antakarana is not a possibility. Thus, Nachiketa, having taken care of his family and their responsibility, next having provided for the society, then with the third boon, he now focuses on his own self and self-evolution. So to that, Nachiketa, when this question is asked about the jiva, the essence of that jiva, the transmigration of that jiva, and is there something after? So to that, what is the response given? Yamadharmaraja says, page 46, 21st mantra, Devairatrapi Vichikitsitam Pura Nahi Suvigneyam Anuresha Dharmaha Anyam Varam Nachiketo Vrinishva Mamoparotsit Mamoparotsi Atimasrujainam. He says, O Nachiketa, the topic that you have started as a demand for your third boon, Devaihi atra api vichikitsitam kila. Even the Devas, they find this particular topic very difficult to understand. Many don't enter into this field even though being Deva, they don't want to touch this topic because it is that difficult, even for them. Why is it that difficult? Nahi suvigneyam. It is not easy to understand. It is not like the other sciences which can be easily understood. This is very, very difficult. Why is it difficult? Anuresha dharmaha. This dharma of the essence of that jiva is very, very subtle. Anuresha dharma. Therefore, in Nachiketa, anyam varam vrinish. Even gods cannot do it. You're still a kid. Why do you want to waste your third boon on this? Ask something else. Don't be stubborn and keep pressing me for this. Mo parotsi, meaning to insist upon. Don't insist upon me to answer this. Ask something else. That which is your age appropriate. We feel that spirituality has to have an age and a time. In Telugu also we say, right? ఏ వయసులో చేయవలసింది ఆ వయసులో చేయాలి. It has to be age appropriate. This, you can focus upon this at a later stage of your life. When you retire. When all your responsibilities are done. Then maybe you should focus. Now hearing this, our Nachiketa is Nachiketa. Look at the way he answers. He says, Devairatrapi Vichikitsitam kila Tvam cha mrityo Yanna Sugneyamatha Vakta chasya Tvadruganyo na labhyaha Nanyo varaha Tulya yetasya kaschit. He uses that very word, that very logic that Yamadharmaraja is providing, and he says, isn't that beautiful? That particular concept which even the Devas find it difficult, I would like to try that challenge. In your own words, you have said that Devaihi atra api vichikitsitam. If it is that difficult, then I am more interested in it. Kila eva etat. I want to now pursue it with more intensity. I didn't know that even Devas found it difficult. If they find it difficult, then I find it encouraging. मुझे तो अब यही चाहिए. And then he says, Vakta chasya tvat drik anyaha na labhyaha. And look at my blessings that I have the opportunity to ask this question directly from Nrityu Devata. Tvam cha mrityo yanna sukneyamatha. And now, you yourself said it is so difficult because it is so subtle. Who else can be a better teacher than the very God of Mrityu? Because you now have the insights of all aspects of this jiva and its movement. As it takes birth, as it leaves, as it dies, as it moves on, where does it move? How does it move? Nobody can know it better than you. As luck would have it, I have you right here standing in front of me. Why would I lose this opportunity in asking anything other than this aspect? Therefore, if at all there is anything, I would want this alone as my third boon. Allah kar lo baat. You say, it's difficult for God? That is so encouraging. I like this challenge. When we start pursuing this, there will be people around that will dissuade us from walking this path. Because mostly we think that those who come to the path of spirituality are a bunch of losers, good for nothing. There is an impression in the world that if somebody is going for satsanga or some kind of these pravachan, papam emaindo emavadi. Ayyo papam. No kastal papam. They're trying to find some solace in this satsanga. I don't know what life has beaten up him with. They think that it is for those kinds of people that have completely lost hope in life. They come to the satsanga and spirituality. It may be true that such people do come, but that does not define it and limit it only to such. And then with his response, he says, age is not a criteria. It is not limited to only old. If that zeal and interest has been kindled, right then and there you are qualified to pursue it and to acquire all that which is required to pursue it. It is not like, vivaha, it has to happen at a certain age. There are various stages and the responsibilities accordingly. Spirituality is the only thing which is not defined by age. And that is why it is kept as a separate account. When people take to Grihastha the vow that is taken by both the boy and the girl to become husband and wife, that both of us will support each other in dharmecha, arthecha, kamecha. Naticharami, na aticharitavya. That we will not transgress, we will support each other in these three fields. There is no mention of moksha, the Chaturtha Purushartha. That is your individual effort. It is not a joint account. Any age doesn't matter. And Nachiketa's answer is equally inspiring. So now, Yamadharmaraja attempts in a different angle. He says, Shatayushaha Putra Pautran Vranishva Bahun Pashun Hasti Hiranyam Ashwan Bhumer Mahadayatanam Vrinishva Swayam cha Jiva Sharadaha Yavadichhasi. He says, when a vara is to be asked, these are the kinds of vara that one has to ask. What are they? Shatayushaha bhava. May you live for 100 years. Okay. And then it says, Putra Pautran Vranishva. Ask for a great progeny. Not just children. Ask for children, grandchildren, and grandchildren. Vranishva. Now you might think, asking for a long life, because there is also a saying again in Telugu. Chirayu means? Papi Chirayu. Because if you are living for a very long life, you are living, but your own sons and daughters and grandchildren, they die before you. That is the most painful thing. Ask not just for your Chirayu, ask for their Chirayu also. What a deal. Having so much of progeny, so much of children, but if there is poverty, it's no good having such. Therefore, to support them, he says, Bahun, Pashun, Hasti, Hiranya, Ashwan, Vranishva. Ask for livestock. In those days, there was no stock exchange. So the investment was always in livestock. Ask for the Pashu. Pashu like what? Elephants, horses, cows, and to maintain them, lot of wealth, Hiranyam. And to maintain all of this, now you have to have that kind of land. If you have a dozen or so cows, you need at least about 2.5 acres for them to graze. Minimum. 5 would be ideal. Minimum 5.5. So now you have Bahun Pashun, you need that kind of land, fertile land. Ask for that. Now to house all of this, you alone cannot maintain it. You need to have a retinue of people. Now to have all of them, you have to provide a good housing and food and all the amenities. Mahad Ayatanam Vranishva. Ask for a palatial building for yourself, for your children, for your grandchildren, and all the people that would serve you. Ask for that. Mahad Ayatanam Vranishva. And then, if all this doesn't please you, you ask for yourself, Swayam, that you will live for Yavadichhasi, as long as you want to live. Ichha Mrityu. ये तो बम्पर लॉटरी है. हाँ, very comprehensive package. मोटा तगड़ा पैकेज है ये तो. Now what does Nachiketa say? This kid is amazing. He says, no, it is Yamadharma Raja continuing. He says, Ye tat tulyam yadi manyase varam vrinishva vittam chirajivikancha mahabhumau nachiketastvamedhi kamanam tva kamabhajam karomi. Hey Nachiketa, etat tulyam, whatever I have enumerated, this kind of comprehensive package you should ask as vara. What asking about jiva is essence? What will it be? पूछो ना, ऐसे पूछो. Like vittam chirajivikam, wealth and long life and all the prosperity. Ask for that. Whatever desires that you may want to entertain, I give you my word. I will fulfill all of it. कामानां त्वा काम भाजन करोमि. हर इच्छा मैं तेरी पूरी कर दूंगा. Everything. Now start thinking. What do you want to ask? Isn't it entertaining? Ask now. He says, ये कामाः दुर्लभा मर्त्यलोके सर्वान् कामान् छन्दतः प्रार्थयस्व इमे रामाः सरताः सतूर्याः नहीदृशा लंभनीया मनुष्यैः आभिर्मत्त प्रत्ताभिः परिचारयस्व नचिकेतो मरणं मानुप्राक्षीः. He says, एक और आइडिया देता हूं. Yamadharmaraj is saying to Nachiketa, I'll give you one more depth to this, asking the third boon. Ye kamaha manushya loke, that kind of desires which may not be fulfilled in the manushya loka. Probably, and here it is my pure imagination, when Yamadharmaraja is trying to entice him with all these things, he turned his face away. यार क्या मैं पूछ क्या रहा हूं, दे क्या रहे हो? And he turned away. The angle where he turned his head, there were the beautiful, the Swargaloka Ratha, and in the Ratha there were Apsarasas. So immediately, Yamadharmaraja thought, अच्छा ये भी ले सकते हो? जो तुम देख रहे हो, this Ratha and the Apsarasas, and they also live eternally. You also can have this eternity of life and take all of these. These cannot be available there. There was a time when people, when they would go to their foreign tours, भर के, they would bring things from the other lands. Why? Those things are not available here. When in my own 22 years of travel back and forth, for 2-3 years, people sometimes request, Swamiji, la do na please. All that anticipation, I thought, it got completely shanta when once something that I bought, it said, made in India. No, made in India, gone to there, and now I'm bringing it. I found it ridiculous. Or when people would come from here and say, Swamiji, यहाँ से आपको कुछ चाहिए अमेरिका में? यहाँ से मतलब क्या लाएंगे? अचार, पापड़, right? Those are also available. Once it is available, there is no uniqueness to it. It is available in plenty. You can acquire it, you can procure it. But these Nachiketa cannot be found in the Martyaloka. Martyaloka meaning the Manavaloka. So take all of these. Ima, Ramaha, Sarataha, Saturyaha. All the divine horses, the divine chariots, including of the passengers there. Ramaha, Apsarasaha. Because these cannot be found in the Manushya Loka. Abhirmat Prattavihi Paricharayasva. And also take those people that are attending to those people, take them along with all of this. Nachiketa, don't ask me about Jiva, his essence, and what happens about after his mrityu. That is not a topic worthy. Just drop it. The 26th and the 27th, my favorite mantras. There is not a day that goes by where I don't contemplate on these two mantras. Amazing depth, amazing clarity. These two shlokas, these two mantras should be the central focal point of every sadhaka. That we will see tomorrow. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kasyat Dukkha Bhavet, Asato Ma Satgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityor Ma Amritangamaya. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.